All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It is today, March 25th, 2020. It is a Wednesday, and today we are going to talk about the United States and the New Deal during the Great Depression, and more specifically, we're going to talk about the second R in the three R's, recovery. So you'll remember that we started learning about the New Deal last Friday. I introduced the New Deal as being a set of programs and agencies and rules and laws that aimed to provide three R's to the American economy to get fixed during the Great Depression, and those three R's were relief, recovery, and reform. On Monday, we talked about relief. Today is Wednesday, and we're going to talk about recovery. What I'd like you guys to do first, though, in your note page, I want you to read this letter from an American citizen to Franklin Delano Roosevelt about the New Deal, to see what this person's perspective on the New Deal was. What I'd like you to do now is pause while you read that letter. Get the letter by clicking on this blue link. Boom, the letter will pop up. You read it. You're looking for the point of view, the perspective, the opinion of this person, John Power, about the New Deal. All right. By now, you have finished doing that, or you paused the video, you read the letter, and you know that, in general, this person, John Power, has a very positive view of the New Deal. Because the One New Deal program, the Homeowners Loan Corporation, helped him refinance his mortgage so that it was easier for him to repay, so he could stay in his home. He said his bank account is more secure, the money in it is less likely to be lost in a bank failure. And in general, he also hasn't lost any of the rights that some of the critics of the New Deal said that he would lose if the New Deal is put in place. So overall, this person is happy about the creation of the New Deal and all that it had done up to this point in 1934 to help him. So again, our focus today is going to be on recovery during the Great Depression. Before we can talk about recovery, though, we need to talk about what happened to the United States economy, what happens during a recession, and what happened during the Great Depression. So we know that because of bank failures and the stock market crash of 1929, and then bank failures between 1929 and 1933, that people and businesses had less money to spend. They spent less money in general, and we started to see an economic contraction as a result. Businesses then made less money, they cut jobs and hours, and then consumers and other people had less money. Other businesses spent less money. Businesses made less money, they cut jobs and hours, so you had fewer people working, and overall, what we start to see here is a serious contraction of the economy. And during the Great Depression, the economy contracted, it got smaller at levels that had never been seen before the Great Depression and have never even been close to seen since, at least up until where we are right at this moment in 2020. So the New Deal, if we're talking about recovery, we're talking about stopping this downward cycle and downward spiral of the American economy so that it would get growing again, right? So the New Deal is about reviving the American economy. It's about bringing it back to life so that people were spending money, that businesses were spending money, and then the theory and the idea is that the economy would start to grow again. So you guys can read this slide and see, the basic idea behind an economic recovery, and what the United States government wanted people and businesses to start doing during the Great Depression was to spend more money. If you spend money, that creates jobs, unemployment declines, and then more people get money. You guys can read the slide to see. But if we're looking at a specific example, we'll look at pizza, because always we should think about things through pizza. But if there was a pizzeria that was suffering during the Great Depression, that pizzeria during the Great Depression may have cut a lot of its workers, all of its staff, maybe entirely, so that it was only being run by its owner. Maybe they had shortened business hours and they had reduced the number of orders that they had made to tomato suppliers and milk and dairy suppliers and flour suppliers. If we imagine that all of a sudden people started to come into the pizzeria to buy more pizza than they had been before, that would immediately create jobs inside the pizzeria, right? The pizzeria owner was the only person working, and all of a sudden there were 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 people coming in to order pizza. the pizzeria owner would need to hire someone to maybe take phone orders or to take counter orders, or he might need to hire someone to prep pizzas on the side while he baked them in the oven. But in addition to that, the pizzeria owner would then need to make more pizza, and that would mean the pizzeria owner would have to order more supplies. That means more tomatoes, which means more workers on the tomato farm. It means the tomato farm ordering more tomato seed, which helps another business. It might mean the pizzeria needs more cheese, which means more trucks might be needed by the cheese delivery company to deliver more cheese. You might need more workers in a cheese factory. You might need more dairy farmers on a dairy farm to milk the cows and produce more milk to make more cheese. And the basic idea behind recovery in the United States, or the recovery programs of the New Deal, was to get people spending money again, to get people and businesses spending money, because that would create more jobs and that would help the economy grow and that would raise everybody's standard of living. So how did the New Deal try to help the American economy recover? So you want people to spend money, but how do you get people to spend money? You need people to have jobs. And then FDR and the people advising him in the United States also believed that stuff or things that would help the economy needed to be constructed and built. Things like roads, bridges, tunnels, and electricity plants to make trade and travel more efficient and faster and easier, and then electricity plants to make people and businesses more productive would be helpful. Schools and post offices also needed to be built in the United States to encourage trade and transportation and growth. And an educated workforce is a really important part of a growing economy as well. And then a third issue that the United States needed to address as part of a third thing that the United States needed to address to make its economy recover was to fix the banking system, which they were able to successfully do, and we're actually going to talk about that thing specifically on Friday. Now, you might also notice that getting people jobs sounds a lot like a relief measure as well. There's some overlap, there might be some overlap. And if you notice that, you're 100% correct. There is a lot of overlap between recovery programs in the New Deal and relief programs. And that's okay. A lot of programs that were created to provide relief to Americans suffering during the Great Depression also helped the American economy recover. And what you guys are going to read about are 4 specific programs that were designed to help the American economy recover, and then also, as part of that, provide relief by employing Americans. Those 4 things, the 4 programs you're going to look at, are the Works Progress Administration, the Public Works Administration, the Civil Works Administration, and the Tennessee Valley Authority. Again, the names of these programs sound very similar, and that's because in each of them, the programs themselves are very similar. In each of them, the federal government hired unemployed Americans to build things around the United States that the country needed. Basically, covering the first 2 items of the New Deal recovery programs: get people jobs and then also build stuff. So you guys are going to research one of these as part of your classwork for today. You're going to answer these 3 questions about the video that we just watched, and then you're going to choose one of those 4 programs. You're going to research them either in your textbook using pages 2 and 3 of lesson 4. The Living New Deal website that you may have used last week is an excellent resource for this, and then also referencing the Library of Congress to search for images of people in the United States doing stuff as part of the New Deal. So if you search for Works Progress Administration, you're going to get a lot of stuff. Images of people in the United States. Let's search here. Images of people in the United States doing stuff as part of the Works Progress Administration. And that's your basic assignment for today. Learning about recovery in the United States during the Great Depression. I hope that you found this very helpful. I'm also going to post a survey for you guys to fill out really quickly at some point today or tomorrow. I just want to get your feedback on how things are going, on how I can help this be easier for you or harder for you, or whatever you guys want. Otherwise, I hope you're all well. I hope that